Welcome back. Well, today on the news, we have an example, and we thought we'd run this article for a couple of reasons. But when you look at the thumbnail, you look at what's happening in Spain, it should catch all of our attention for all over the world, because here we have the roots of Catholicism, Spain. So Spain's Catholic Church said on Friday that it would compensate all its victims for child abuse. And we're going to take a look at that. This is an example, I believe, for what's to come for JW.org, for Jehovah's Witness religion. This is what's to come. And I think there's, when we look at the news today, we see the Catholic Church coming in and saying, yeah, we're responsible and we're going to pay out. We don't see that happening with Jehovah's Witnesses, and that's quite interesting, and we're going to see what's going to happen because of that. So today's news is brought to us by Watchtower, and we go to them for the news a lot. Now, if you look on this page, this news is actually 4 clips back, Spain's Catholic Church, and we look at these videos that the community puts out because there's reasons for it. And it's quite obvious the reasons here is this is what's going to happen and is happening right now with Jehovah's Witnesses. So let's see how serious this is. Now we're going to play this little clip just for a bit. It's not yet officially public with all of Jehovah's Witnesses. This was from an excerpt from the annual meeting. And I think this really resonates what Tony Morris says, that we're never going to change. We're never going to change. That's what he told Norway. And then they kicked Tony Morris out. But now they have this guy, he's saying pretty much the same thing.
And at a time that it is needed. Well, knowing this, then, we are not embarrassed about adjustments that are made, nor is an apology needed for not getting it exactly right previously. We understand this is how Jehovah operates.
So anyways, that's all we needed from that clip. There's no reason for an apology because this is how Jehovah works. So that was Jeffrey Winder, and he summed it up nicely. Now, if Jehovah's Witnesses or the governing body is going out to the world and say, look, guys, we made some mistakes. We didn't get it right. We know that. We're not inspired, but we are God's channel. We're the faithful slave, spoken of in Matthew and Luke. We are that. But we're not inspired. We make mistakes. We're fallible. But Jehovah's light's getting brighter. Can't you guys see it? Jehovah's light's getting brighter. It's not our fault. You see, this is what they're saying. They want no culpability, because with culpability, you have to pay out a lot of money. You have to pay the victims out. So they're telling the victims that you suffered because of our God, Jehovah. They're blaming it on Jehovah. Jehovah didn't give them the bright enough light to write the Proper's Elder book and look after CSA properly within their congregations. Didn't give it to them. But somehow after Australia spanked their behinds, they rewrote their Elders book. Was that from Jehovah or was that from Australia? Or was God working through the governments? You see, that's what the Bible says regarding crimes. Governments are in charge of crimes. It's right in Romans chapter 13. Read the whole chapter. But that's not what this is about. We looked at their stand. They're not going to apologize. Well, what's going on in around the world? What's going to happen? Okay, this is the first article. There's a ton of articles, and so we're only going to look at a couple. Okay, so this article was June 2nd, 2023. Spain, the Catholic Church unearths 728 child sex abuse cases. And if you take a look at the picture there, we used that on our thumbnail. All these looks like Catholic priests, they're all laying on the floor getting a spanking from the bishop or something for probably abusing children. I don't know what that picture's all about, but that's kind of what came to my mind. We'll just read the first paragraph here. It says, a probe by the Spanish Catholic Church into child sex abuse by members of the clergy and non-clerical officials has found over 728 alleged abusers and as many as 927 victims since the 1940s. So what I thought was interesting here, this was a probe by the Spanish Catholic Church. Like, they're probing their own church. I thought that was interesting. We don't see Jehovah's Witnesses or JW.org or the Watchtower, the Watchtower probe on JW.org, maybe something like that. The Watchtower probes it and finds out they're guilty. We don't see that going on in Jehovah's Witness religion. They're hiding it. As we've seen, they're not responsible. No reason to apologize. But here, the church itself did a probe. This was back in June. So I lost one of my articles. It was behind a paywall. But this one here came up. This was October. So June, now we're October, all 2023, all this year. We look at the Tabernacle there, Spain Ombudsman. Do you know what that is? I probably said it wrong. An ombudsman, I looked it up here, and where is that information? See if I can get it on the screen here. It's an official appointed to investigate individual complaints against maladministration, especially that of public authorities. And it goes on to say an ombudsman has the power to investigate and file complaints against otherwise influential organizations or high-ranking officials. You see, it's pretty hard for the common person, and this is what's been going on for decades, is that these high-ranking bishops and high-ranking officials are standing in the way. This is what Jehovah's Witnesses are using lawyers for all over the world, to stand in the way. Well, these ombudsmen, I know I said that wrong, they have the power to request key documents, interview individuals, and order a legal investigation if necessary. And if agreed to, their rulings are legally binding. So they have a lot of power. The one that's ruling here, let me see if I can just get it up here. This is the guy that's looking after Spain, this guy right here. And so Angel Gabilondo. I know I said that wrong as well. So anyways. Okay, moving forward. So the church unearthed 728 child sex abuses. So now we looked at this Ombudsman. This report released by the Spanish Ombudsman, Angel Gabilondo, on Friday. And this was in October 29th. It's not long ago. And he found that the priests within the Catholic Church has abused more than 1 in every 200 Spaniards. 1 in every 200. Could you imagine? And the report was presented to the Spanish Parliament on Friday and aimed to ensure that the perpetrators are held responsible and accountable for their actions. And the Ombudsman also sought to create greater awareness about the issue of sexual abuse within the Catholic Church. So they interviewed a lot of people. It says the report detailed that out of 8,000 interviews, 11% were victims of sexual abuse at the hands of Catholic priests during their childhood, adolescence. And additionally, the report revealed that more women than men were abused, and how many suffer from mental health issues or have contemplated committing suicide. So this is all over the world. This is all over the world. We knew the Catholic Church had a problem, and we weren't sure how it was getting handled. Now, here's the last article on this, and this is just the other day, November. So this is like a month later from that last report we read. This is like November 24th, and it says Spain's Catholic Church to compensate sexual abuse victims. So within 1 month, they already had a solution, or they came back with an offer or a compensation or an agreement. Now, if you look at the picture there, it's pretty dark. The pews are empty. And we showed that on our thumbnail, how the churches are empty. Empty pews, it says, are seen inside a Catholic church. Madrid, Spain. Now, Madrid, November 24th, Spain's Catholic Church said on Friday. And keep in mind, folks, compare this to what's coming for Jehovah's Witnesses. The world governments, Ombudsmans, and whoever's appointed to look into these things, they're tired of it. Look what's happening in Norway. That's our next video. The Jehovah's Witnesses are suing them for more money. It's all over the world. Look at what's happening in Japan, New Zealand, Australia, within Jehovah's Witness organization. The governments are tired. Look at Pennsylvania, the whole state. It's crazy. So here's what's going on. The Spain's Catholic Church said that it would compensate victims of sexual abuse. And this is what's interesting. Even in cases that have not been concluded because the offending priest has died, representing a shift from its previous position. In cases where there is no sentence, we will also pay the perpetrator if the perpetrator is deceased, or if there is a civil statute of limitations. He's saying that they'll pay. Secretary General of Spain bishops, of the Spanish Bishops' Conference, told the press conference. Interesting. And it goes on to say it will have to be examined on a case-by-case basis, and if that moral conclusion is reached, then there will be that moral reparation. That's simple. If it was guilty, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. That's what they're saying. He added that. Now, the church had until now, up until now, just yesterday, refused to compensate victims in cases where the abuser had died. A frequent occurrence. All these priests are getting old, right? This is going to happen within the Jehovah's Witness religion. People are getting old, they're dying. So this kind of sets a precedent of what's going to happen within the Jehovah's Witness religion. It is grappling with scandals following a landmark media investigation in 2021 that unearthed widespread abuse by priests in Spain. It follows other sexual abuse scandals involving the Catholic Church in a number of countries, including the United States, Ireland, and France. It's all over the world, folks. The survey published last month that formed part of the report by Spain's Human Rights Ombudsman found that of 0.6% of the 8,000 respondents said they had been abused, rising to 1.1% when including lay people such as teachers at the Catholic schools. And the Ombudsman's report also criticized the Catholic Church for not cooperating fully with the investigation and for seeking to minimize the phenomena. So yeah, they're on the news. Jehovah's Witnesses on the news. This is just starting, folks. Just starting. Well, that pretty well wraps this up and kind of shows us what's going to happen in the world and what is happening in the world. And it's happening quickly. It's happening quickly. So, folks, that's all I have to say. I think I'm just going to rock it out of here. So until next time, keep living your life with love. Bye for now. Oh, hello. My name is Vern. Join the channel. We cover JW World News, and we give you the rest of the story. Today, we're going to the Watchtower, and we have lives on Tuesday nights and Saturdays, and an excellent community. So join the channel and watch as we crash into the Watchtower. Here it is. I see it coming. Woo! Join us as we report in on the Watchtower.